Good morning. This is take two. I seem to have some technical difficulties, and the last one was only 4 seconds. So this is Dan Hammond, licensed massage therapist. I have a bachelor's degree in homeopathic medicine, life coach, lymphatic, certified lymphologist. And what I was talking about was mindfulness and gaining control of our mind. So I'm going to start this story again because I'm starting the video again. When I first started, hello Kelly, when I first started in the Navy, I got to my first ship and I was still a seaman recruit, maybe a seaman apprentice. Basically, if you equate that to education, I was a preschooler, but I got into a position in the office. I learned later because nobody else wanted it. The work was too hard, too extensive, such long hours. But I like to get into a position where I'm excelling. Hello, Jerry, welcome. So here I am in the Navy, brand new, on a ship, being overloaded with massive work, all kinds of problems happening at home that were stressing me out, and experiencing going out to sea. So I had a situation where I equate it to being very close to a breakdown. So let's say we're a tree and you have a rope tied to the tree, and that's life's stresses. And as that rope pulls, we're stressed. But if it goes too far, the tree can break at the trunk. And the tree can break at the trunk. And so that's a breakdown. But if when that rope is pulling on the tree, your self-guidance, self-leveling internal situations is able to break that rope, then what happens is, I call it whiplash. And that's where you have a near breakdown, but not quite a breakdown. It doesn't take quite as long to recover from. But what happened was, I would, except for some bad thoughts in my mind that I didn't even understand where they were coming from, my mind was still. But what had always happened was that there was tons of information going through my mind. My mind was always full of information, always stuff going through it. But when my mind went still and calm, I got worried. And I headed over to the corpsman, who fortunately was kind of like a sophomore in his experience. And he was able to explain to me, because I thought I was going crazy, he was able to explain to me that I wasn't, that I was just experiencing sensory overload. And what I've come to understand now, as I've begun working with people with stress and PTSD and being able to build their self-confidence and their self-esteem, is that stillness is a good thing. And I think my mind and my body were just trying to give me a break at this time, or give me a rest. And now I understand that stillness is a good thing. So we want to learn to bring our mind to be still. Stillness, mindfulness, meditation, they all come together. Hello, Darlene, welcome. While we're working on being able to be mindful and to ally our mind and to work with it, we still have to have mindfulness in there. Because if we just clear our mind, if we just leave our mind blank, what's going to happen is that the subconscious, it's going to be giving us information. Hello, Darlene. Good to see you. Good that you're here. So that I call it the mid-conscious. Hello, Georgia. Welcome. I call it the mid-conscious. And what happens with the mid-conscious is it's been it's been filled with information to guide us from the age of 1 to 5 particularly. And so from 1 to 5, we don't understand a lot of things. So when we get disappointed, when something doesn't work out the way we want it to, when it doesn't work out the way we want it to, what happens is we blame ourselves. We don't blame our parents. They're feeding us, they're clothing us, they're hopefully hugging us, and they say good things to us, or they have as we've been small. We blame ourselves. We say, well, it must be my problem. Not only that, in that time from 1 to 5, what happens is if somebody says something negative to us, tells us no, tells us we can't, thank you, darling. If somebody tells us no, we're no good, we can't, calls us names, it just gets taken in like a sponge and becomes part of our information system that is going to feed our mind if we don't have control of it. And if we don't know to get control of it, we don't know that there's a path. So how do we become mindful? And what is mindfulness? I first started finding it through guided meditation. And what it is, and it's something that I worked with the people with the Paradise refugees up in Chico. Here they are, they're totally stressed, they're totally focused on their challenges and their frustrations and the pictures of what's happened. And as we put them in my guided meditation, they were able to let go and clear their minds. And that led to being able to be more peaceful and be able to sleep. It's not going to fix all of their problems, but it's going to help them work with their problems. So mindfulness is taking control of our mind and taking it away from all of those thoughts that flood our mind that we don't want. You see, that mid-conscious guides us. So if I'm saying I'm going to do something, and the programming is in the mid-conscious, then it says, yeah, go for it. But if I say I'm going to do something, and there's program from when I'm little, it's going to say, you can't do that. You're not good enough. You should be worried right now. So what I teach people, and what I'm happy to work with anybody who watches this, to work with them on, is how to take control of the programming of the mid-conscious. And the amazing thing that I've found is that as I've been working with this stillness of mind, this being able to control my mind of what's going into it and what I'm telling it, that my mid-conscious isn't worried. It's accepting the things that I'm giving it, and it's not worried that I'm at peace. Again, being at peace and just having a totally clear mind is different, because if we're not focused and mindful, the subconscious will come in and take over. And we've talked about before how it's a little bit nearsighted. It's powerful, very, very powerful. Our subconscious runs our heart, runs our lungs, keeps our body going in perfect sequence. But when it comes to working with upper level thoughts, it can mess us up, because it doesn't really care. That's not its business. It wants us to take control of the reins of our upper levels. Hello, Mahu, and welcome. It wants us to take control of what we're doing. So we can be mindful, we can be calm, we can learn meditation and be able to take control. And it's going to let us and quit giving us these messages that we don't want in our head. What we say and what we think creates our feelings. and our feelings lead to our actions. And that becomes our reality. Our actions reaffirm what we're thinking. So we have to, through mindfulness, how do we access our subconscious and our upper thoughts? Through identifying what we're saying that is not what we want to be thinking, what we're thinking and what we're saying, identifying it, and then flipping it to a positive. Instead of I can't, I can. And I show people, I help people learn how to take that I can and displace and remove the I can't. And if you would like me to get in touch with you and work with you, just leave a message underneath. And also, I am going to be putting a website together. I already have Dan Hammond's Self-Care Revolution on Facebook, and you can go there. I post these every day, and you can go there and you can go through them and see things. But you can also make a comment if you would like some help, and I will get back in touch with you and work with you. We can be happy. Self-confidence and self-esteem is the foundation, and it comes through learning